The question I ask all of you right now is how many ounces of gold and how many ounces of silver do you have? I don't care about anything else. Just look at what they're doing today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today, they're printing so much money because this mountain of debt is so high. If they stop printing money, it crashes. Governments have spent $17 trillion on the pandemic, including loans and guarantees, for a combined total of 16% of the global GDP. That's how much money was printed last year. 16% of the global GDP. Now, if that doesn't cause you to run out and buy gold and silver, I don't know what will. You know, they now have to keep printing or we crash. In 1 year, they print 16% of the GDP of the world. And how much? The only question is, Andrew, how much longer can they keep that up? And that's not the only part about it. What happened in 71, as you say, goes to the COMEX, but what happened after that, we now have a derivatives market that is in the quadrillion. So debt is measured in trillions, and the derivatives market is measured in quadrillions. So what people don't know what a derivative is fake assets. Everything's fake now. So, it's like I give you an IOU and you give somebody else an IOU, and we just pass these IOUs around, and this market has grown so big, it's now in the quadrillion. So when people say, well, the debt's measured in trillions, I said, it's really in quadrillion. And that's why I'm a gold and silver bug. I've been for all these years, and so the guys like us, we've been waiting just for the air to come out of the balloon. Gold is God's money. Gold is an element placed here on earth, the same as silver is. All I care about today is how many ounces of gold and how many ounces of silver, and what was the price you bought it at. That's all I care about, because in a few years, you're going to wish you had bought more. Do you know what I mean? To sit here and talk about the flies on the future and all this other stuff, to me, it's ridiculous. And I've started a gold mine in China, in Dalian, China. Of course, when I struck gold, the Chinese took it from me, which I don't trust the Chinese anymore. And I've built a silver mine in South America. So I am fairly familiar with gold and silver and the mining side. And I know it's being depleted. So when you look at this magazine, again, this is this month's issue of The Economist, very credible magazine. And last year they printed 16% of the GDP. The question I ask all of you right now is how many ounces of gold and how many ounces of silver do you have? I don't care about anything else. Just look at what they're doing today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today, they're printing so much money because this mountain of debt is so high. If they stop printing money, it crashes. And when it crashes, because they find out the dollar, which is a reserve currency of the world, is worthless, you're going to wish you had more ounces of gold and silver. And personally, I'm very bullish on silver, just because it's still 50% from its all-time high. It was $50 when I bought it. Now it's $24. So it's how many ounces do you have today? That's all I count. I have traveled the world digging for gold and silver. I was in the Andes up at 14,000 feet. And like you said, it was 5,000. I don't know how many years the Incas were there. But I still remember standing in the Andes and seeing these lines going across the mountaintop. And I asked my geologist with me, I said, what is that? He says, 1,000 years ago, the Inca were tracking gold up a mountain. And I said, 1,000 years ago, the Inca, before the Spaniards, were digging for gold. And then I've been in Mongolia, same thing, a place called the Checkerboard, same thing. For thousands of years, humans have been digging for this gold. And this is before the internet and before telephone and before this. The Inca were digging for gold. The Chinese were digging for gold. The South Americans were digging for, you know what I mean? This is before the telephone and internet. So there's something, I hate to say it, spiritual about gold and silver. Humans know what real money is. And that's why I'll say it again. In 1933, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president, made it illegal for Americans to own gold, the more I studied it, like you, I began to realize there's some kind of spiritual or special property to the power of gold and silver, which are real money. Yet most people, Andy, would rather have this. Say, hey, I'm going to give you $10 billion, and they get all excited. This is not even good toilet paper. But that's what the value systems are so off. So I'll say it again, I would stop discussing. If you don't have much money, run down and buy one silver something. Just buy something. Real silver, not the ETF, not the derivative. because that's all fake. And what I say with people, you haven't started, start with silver. It's about $25. Get 10 of them, 250, live dangerously. And what else I say to people, gold is for saving, silver is for spending. So in case what hits the fan, which it will soon, when the whole thing comes down like a house of cards, and as Jim Rickard says, you won't be able to buy gold at any price at that point because the panic will be on. There's not enough gold there's shortages of gold right now. Premiums are high. But when that collapses, which is coming, we don't know when, but it's coming, you won't be able to buy the physical because all the people that sold the derivatives, like the ETFs, will be buying it. And the guys who bought the ETF from are your biggest competitors. If you understand that's how screwed up the whole market is, you stay away from paper and you can buy as much hard physical gold and silver today. And not numismatic, I don't mean don't go into collectibles, just buy 1 ounce of gold, 1 ounce of silver. And I save gold, and if I have to run, I'll spend the silver. I don't know why anybody would save dollars or pounds, anything like that, because this whole paper money system is about to collapse. Now, I don't know when. It could be 5 years, 10 years. But that's why I keep saying to people, how many ounces do you have, and at what price did you buy it? How many ounces, and at what was your strike price? When did you enter? It's not when you sell, it's when you buy. So today, when I look at silver at $25, and when I started buying silver, it was $50. So when it went down to under 3, I bought more. So I got tons of silver because I'm never going to spend it. And I hope if I have to spend it, we're in serious trouble. Because the dollar is totally collapsed. But at least silver will always be accepted. Gold and silver are God's. It was put here on earth by God.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where do you start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.